Guys, welcome to the Florida Treasure Coast Market Update. Today we're going to focus on homes in that $600,000 to $800,000 price point. Let's go!
You better get fired up!
What's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. We're here every single Wednesday at 11 o'clock to go over some portion of that Port St. Lucie market to make you the most educated buyers and sellers in this real estate market. So today I'm going to share, let me pull up my screen here, and what we're looking at right here is the MLS, right? So this is the tool that all realtors use to input all of our new listings. This is where when we have buyers, we go to look for those listings, and all those big websites, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Realtor, eXp Realty, Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, Remax, you name it, all feed from here, right? This is the hub of everything. And then they've got what are called IDX feeds that send out all the information to these other sites that you guys use to search for properties. So this is the real deal. This is the base of everything that you've ever used to search for homes. So what we're going to do is we're going to look up today $600,000 to $800,000 homes and get a little bit of data. I know we've got a heck of a lot more buyers in that $350,000 to $450,000 price point. That's kind of the hottest price point right now. But I do have a lot of people who own $600,000 to $800,000 homes, or they're looking to buy $600,000 to $800,000 homes. And because we just don't have as many of those buyers and sellers in Port St. Lucie, we don't really talk about it a lot. So today, I want to love you up, baby. I want to start talking about you guys a little bit. So let's come in here. And the first thing we're going to look at is Port St. Lucie. And we're going to look at single family homes. And we're going to go list price 600. Whoops. Come on, Joe. $600,000 to $800,000. So you can see right now we've got 198. I better start taking notes or I'm going to forget this stuff. We got 198 active listings on the market. And if you look over here, you'll see all of these green dots. Those are all of the listings that are for sale. So you've got little pockets, right? Like we got a lot right over here on the east side, just above, what is this, Crosstown? Yeah, Crosstown. And there's a lot of newer developments down there. That makes sense. You got some down here on the west side of 95, a little bit more south. And then you've got some more down here right off of, the Stewart area. So you've got a lot of these little pockets, right? $600,000 to $800,000. So we got 198 options. So then the question is, okay, let's look at the last 90 days of solds. I'm gonna have to come in here and crunch some numbers here. Here's your insight to Joe Rosen doing math. So we got 2 days in October. So that brings us up to 32, 63. So what do I need? Another 27. But we've got 31, so take off 4. So there we go. That should be 90 days. And we got 81 sales in 90 days. So if I take 198 divided by 81 equals times 90, that means we got 220 days, or what is that, 7 months and 10 days worth of inventory. That's honestly not bad for that price point. It's pretty common to see 9 months, 10 months, 12 months in a slower market. So the fact that we're at 20 days is not horrible. Now, is it a seller's market? Absolutely not. There is a market at that 350, 400 price point. That market, especially if you've got a pool, especially if it's got a newer roof, that market's hot. You might even see multiple offers in that market, right, if you're priced right. But when you're in the $600,000 to $800,000 price point, not that you can't have multiple offers, you can in any price point. It's just not as common. However, I want you to see something very special. I don't know if I'd say special, but look at this list, right? See all the blue dots? See how different this map is than the previous map I showed you. The previous map, it was all over the place and it was pretty evenly divided out. But when you look at actual sales, it is very heavy on the west side of 95, and it is very heavy in this little pocket right down here. I'm going to guess that's Tesoro. That's probably Tesoro. And that's where you're seeing these pockets. So just because $600,000 to $800,000 homes are selling pretty decently doesn't mean your area specifically is selling that. So when your realtor comes in and does some of this analysis for you, ask them to pull these inventory numbers specifically in your neighborhood, whether that's an HOA, a zip code, a well-defined area of the market, whatever it is. Ask them to pull those numbers directly from that. If they're not, they certainly can, and it helps you become a more informed seller, right? So looking at this, I want to go, okay, this is closed. I want to come in, and what I want to look at is what are they getting as a sales price compared to the asking price. And that is this number right over here. So out of, I forget what we had, 81. Yep, 81 sales. You can see that one sold for 108% of asking, 106. And some of these too, what years were these built? That may not be the case. Sometimes you'll see like this one at 2024 build. Maybe they came in and said, hey, I want to add chrome molding. I don't want carpet. I want you to maybe put in tile or, get rid of the laminate countertops. I want quartz countertops. And they'll let you do all that. They won't change the price, but of course the sales price, the asking price, but of course the sales price is going to change because of all those things. Sometimes on new construction. But one of these is a 1998, so that one may be a little bit different. But again, maybe they went in and they said, hey, will you put a new roof on? Yeah, sure. So now they're asking $650, but they sell it for $680, right? So sometimes that's what happens. So you got 108, 106, 106, 104, 104, 104. You got 3 at 103. You got 4 at 102. So look at this. Let me come all the way down to where 100 starts. Right there. That is number 32. So 32 of 81. Let's divide that out. Divided by 81. 39 and a half. Let's just call 40%. 4 to every 10 homes that are selling in that $600,000 to $800,000 price point, they're selling for full price or more. That's pretty impressive. I probably would not have guessed that. So then you look at the bottom end. You say, okay, what are people really wheeling and dealing for? And you've got all but 68. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of these sold for 95% of asking price or less. Or less. Isn't that interesting? Let's get in and just take a look at one of these, okay? So this one is 1,850 square feet. It was a 2021, and they were asking $645, $160, and it sold for $575, $150. Let's get in and take a look at some of these photos. Remember, too, I said $600 to $800. These are asking prices, so you're going to see some of the solds are actually a little bit higher or a little bit lower. But here you go. And this is new construction. A lot of people think that new construction builders will not bend on price point. Obviously, this tells you that's not true. I will tell you, it depends on the market. It depends on if they're custom. It depends on if it's a pre-built. It depends on a lot of different things. But your realtor should be able to guide you in the expectations. Okay, we don't get a lot more photos. But interesting. So, yeah, that one actually sold for... That can't be right. Why is that? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong number here. 89%. So I got an 11% discount. That's pretty wild. So anyway, there you guys go. That is a little bit of insight into what is going on in that $600,000 to $800,000 price point. I would say this, as a seller, well, this applies to both. You really want to be educated. Because when you're looking at $350,000 to $400,000, it doesn't matter if they're overpriced, underpriced by 10 grand. You've got so many buyers coming at that home, with most of them, that what you're going to pay is strongly dictated by how much other interest there is in that property. There might be no comps to support that price, and they're $10,000 overpriced, $15,000 overpriced. But if there's 2 other buyers coming at that home, because that's kind of the price point where average income people can barely afford to get into. That's why there's so many buyers at that price point right now. So when you're at that price point, it doesn't matter if they're overpriced. That's what it's going to sell for. But when you're at $600,000 to $800,000, it's really important because you probably don't have that competition as a buyer. It's really important to make sure that you're paying market value. At least it is in my opinion, right? A lot of people, when they're selling, for whatever reason, man, if we got to drop the price 10 grand, that's so painful. But when you're going to buy, 10 grand, whatever, we got to get the house. And I get that mentality because I've been there too, right? When you want it, you'll overpay. But when you got to sell it, oh my God, I want every penny. I get that. But really do the work on the front end. A lot of investors will tell you that the profit in say a flip is made when you purchase it. So make sure that you're purchasing it intelligently. Always, I don't get enough buyers who ask for this. Always ask your realtor as a buyer's agent to do that same market analysis that a listing agent would do for you when they list your home. I've never listed a home without saying, hey, let me go run the numbers. Looking at the numbers, your home is worth X. I suggest you be at X. That's going to help you get the most amount of buyers in, blah, blah, blah. Here's a strategy. Let's do it. Why are we not doing that same thing on the buy side? We should be. I can't tell you how many people we go look at a home and it's 650 and they say, hey, do you think we can get it for 640? And I'll say, hey, why would we want to? We haven't done a market analysis on it yet. What if it's worth 600? You don't want to pay 640. That's 40 grand over. What if it's 675? You come in at 640, and had I told you it was worth 675, you'd know there's probably going to be a lot of interest in this property, and now you're losing to another offer, right? So let's really delve in and look at those prices. Be an educated buyer. Be an educated seller. As a seller, know your inventory rates. Always. Always know your inventory rates. And it will change. If you look at the whole city, that inventory rate I just gave you is 220 days. If I go down to Tesoro, maybe it's 4 months. And if I go to another area, I don't want to speak badly of any areas, maybe it's 2 years, right? So everywhere you look is going to be a little bit different. Get the education from your realtor so that you know exactly what your expectations should be. Guys, if you have a part of the market that you want me to look into, whether it's a price point, waterfront, oceanfront, investment properties, or lots, let me know, and I'm happy to do that in a future Wednesday Florida Treasure Coast Market Update. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next Wednesday here at 11 o'clock.